Yes, we can start reading. Everybody can raise their hand, whoever want to read. Yes, I can see the raise hands. Harita Mataji, you can start.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Danvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Wish you all a happy Mohini Ekadasi. Sri Yudhishthira Maharaj said, O Janardana, what is the name of the Ekadashi that occurs during the light fortnight, Shukla Paksha of the month of Vaishaka, April, May? What is the process for observing it properly? Kindly narrate all of these details to me. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna replied, O blessed son of Dharma, what Vashishta Muni once told to Ramachandra, I shall now describe to you. Please hear me attentively. Lord Ramachandra asked Vashishta Muni, O great sage, I would like to hear about the best of all fasting days, that day which which destroys all kinds of sins and sorrows. Have suffered long sorrows. I have suffered long enough in separation from my dear Sita, and so I wish to hear from you about how my suffering can be ended. The sage Vashishta replied, O Lord Rama, O you whose intelligence is so keen, simply by remembering your name, one can one can cross the ocean of the material world. You have questioned me in order to benefit all of humanity and fulfill everyone's desires. I shall now describe that day of fasting which purifies the whole world. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Medavani Saki Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. O Rama, that day is known as Vaishaka Shukla Ekadashi, which falls on Dwadashi. It removes all sins and is famous as Mohini Ekadashi. Truly, O dear Rama, the merit of this Ekadashi frees the fortunate soul who observes it from the network of illusion. Therefore, if you want to relieve your sufferings, observe this auspicious Ekadashi perfectly, for it removes all obstacles from one's path and relieves the greatest miseries. Kindly listen as I describe its glories, because for one who even just hears about this auspicious Ekadashi, the greatest sins are nullified. On the banks of the Saraswati River, there was once a beautiful city named Bhadravati, which was ruled by King Dutiman. O Rama, that steadfast, truthful, and highly intelligent king was born in the dynasty of the moon, Chandravamsha. In his kingdom was a merchant named Dhanapala who possessed a great deal of wealth of food grains and money. He was also very pious. Dhanapala arranged for lakes to be dug, sacrificial arenas to be erected, and beautiful gardens to be cultivated for the benefit of all the citizens of Bhadravati. He was an excellent devotee of Lord Vishnu and had 5 sons: Sumana, Dyutiman, Medhavi, Sukriti, and Drishta Buddhi. Should I continue, Mataji?
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hemi Mataji, you can continue.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Unfortunately, his son Drishtabuddhi always engaged in greatly sinful activities such as sleeping with prostitutes and associating with similar degraded persons. He enjoyed illicit sex, gambling, and many other varieties of acts aimed at gratifying the senses. He disrespected the demigods, devas, the Brahmins, the forefathers, and other elders of the community, as well as his family's guests. The evil-hearted Drishtabuddhi spent his father's wealth indiscriminately, always feasting on untouchable foods and drinking alcohol to excess. One day, Dhanpala kicked Drishtabuddhi out of the house, after he saw him walking along the road arm in arm with a known prostitute. From then on, all Drishtabuddhi's relatives were highly critical of him and distanced themselves from him also. After he had sold all of his inherited ornaments and became destitute, the prostitute also abandoned him and insulted him because of his poverty. Drishtabuddhi was now full of anxiety and also hungry. He thought, what should I do? Where should I go? How can I maintain myself? He then began to steal. The king's constables arrested him, but when they learned who it was and that his father was the famous Dhanapala, they released him. He was caught and released this way many times. But at last,
Thank you,
uh,
Mataji.
thank you, Hare Krishna Baba.
Padma Mataji, please continue. I will scroll up.
But at last, little bit Mataji. But at last, sick of his arrogance and total disrespect for others and their property, the ill-mannered Drishtabuddhi was apprehended, handcuffed, and then beaten. After whipping him, the king's marshals warned him, "O evil-minded one, there is no place for you in this kingdom." However, Drishtabuddhi was freed from his tribulation by his father and immediately thereafter entered the dense forest. He wandered here and there, hungry and thirsty and suffering greatly. Eventually, he began killing the jungle animals, the lions, deer, boars, and even the wolves for food. Always ready in his hand was his bow, always on his shoulder was the quiver full of arrows. He also killed many birds such as chakoras, peacocks, kankas, doves, and pigeons. He hesitantly slaughtered many species of birds and animals to maintain his sinful way of life, the sinful results accumulating more and more each day. On account of his previous sins, he was now immersed in an ocean of great sin that was so relentless that it appeared that he could not get out. Drishtabuddhi was always miserable and anxious, but one day during the month of Vaishaka, by the force of some of his past merit, he chanced upon the sacred ashrama of Kaudinya Muni. The great sage had just finished bathing in the Ganges river and water was dripping from his still. Drishtabuddhi had a great good fortune to touch some of those droplets of water that were falling from the great sage's wet clothing.
Thank you, Mataji.
Okay, Mataji, Hare Bol.
Sushmita Mataji, you can continue. I will scroll it up.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Instantly.
Instantly, Drishtabuddhi was freed of his ignorance and his sinful reactions were reduced. Offering his humble obeisances to Kaundinya Muni, Drishtabuddhi prayed to him with joined palms. O great Brahmana, please describe to me some of the atonement I may perform without too much endeavor. I have committed so many sins in my life, and these have now made me very poor. The great Rishi replied, O son, listen with great attention, for by hearing me, your life will change and you will become free of all your remaining sins. In the light fortnight of this very month, Vaishakha, April to May, there occurs the second Mohini Ekadasi, which has the power to nullify sins as vast and weighty as Mount Sumeru. If you follow my advice and faithfully observe a fast on this Ekadasi, which is so dear to Lord Hari, you will be freed from all the sinful reactions of many, many births. Hearing these words with great joy, Drishta Buddhi promised to observe a fast on Mohini Ekadasi according to the sage's instruction and direction. O best of kings, O Ramachandra Bhagavan, by fasting completely on Mohini Ekadasi, the once sinful Drishtabuddhi, the prodigal son of the merchant Dhanapala, became sinless. Afterwards, he achieved a beautiful transcendental form and free at last of all obstacles, rode upon the carrier of Lord Vishnu Garuda to the supreme abode of the Lord. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Mataji. Akshara Mataji, you can read Mataji. I think there is only little remaining, but you can read it.
O Ramachandra, the fast day of Mohini Ekadashi removes the darkest illusory attachments to material existence. There is thus no better fast day in all the three worlds than this. Lord Shri Krishna concluded, as and so, O Yudhishthira, there is no place of pilgrimage, no sacrifice, and no charity that can bestow merit equal to even 1/16th of the merit a faithful devotee of mine obtains by observing the Mohini Ekadashi. And he who hears and studies the glories of Mohini Ekadashi achieves the merit of giving away 1,000 cows in charity. Thus ends the narration of the glories of Vaishakha Shukla Ekadashi or Mohini Ekadashi from the Kurma Purana. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, dear devotees, for everyone who have read the Ekadasi glories. Thank you so much. We will close the call here. Once again, Vedavini Saki Mataji, very beautiful class, Mataji. Thank you for staying back with us for reading the Ekadasi glories. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripasinubhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda ki Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Radhe
Ki jai.
Radhe.
Ekadasi Mahotsav ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Radhe Radhe.
Thank you, Mataji.
It is Ekadashi tomorrow for us in India.
Right.
So I didn't
Yeah,
write
Mataji, even in US, it is like half of the US is doing today, half of the US is doing tomorrow. So Ekadasi is different for different.
Yes.
Mataji, I have seen in the bottom it says, right, it is a Ekadasi which has to be full Ekadasi or half Ekadasi and half Dvadasi, something like that.
Yeah, in New Jersey we are doing tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. EST is doing tomorrow. CST is doing today. I don't know about PST what they are doing, but everybody has different Ekadasi. For this Ekadasi, yes.
Okay.
Please just
Radhe.
follow your temple calendar. Don't get confused. Hare Krishna. So as I'm doing it today, so I wanted it to read tomorrow. Today, and people who are doing tomorrow will be known what is the glory of Ekadasi. So you'll be more prepared to do it enthusiastically.
That's true. That is true. Thank you. Radhe Radhe.